Alright guys, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, a very special good evening to one and all. Me Shabnam from the Code Ark, and on behalf of Code Ark, I would like to welcome you all at our day 25 of our full stack web development series. Would be glad if you could acknowledge once in the chat section. Audibility, visibility, all clear and set to go ahead, right? Okay, by the time you reply to me and I look it into the chat section, I continue ahead. Fine. Yesterday it was day 24 and we dig more into object-oriented programming. And the most important concept of object-oriented programming that we exclusively discussed in 1.5 hour session yesterday was inheritance. Am I right? That's inheritance, people. Okay, that is when one class can take away properties and methods from another class. Am I right? Or when one class is allowed to use the properties and methods of another class. All clear. Okay, fine. Thank you. Of another class. That's what is inheritance. In fact, we have coded one or two example of inheritance also. Say one class is a person class, and but then a professor is also a person, a student is also a person, an employee is also a person. Is that correct? A doctor is also a person. These all different types of persons have some characteristic and functions in common. So those which are common will actually go in the master class person. Additional properties and methods which is not common from person to person will be specialized in the child class. Good evening friends, good evening everyone. Okay, fine. Next, there were two paradigms or terms associated with inheritance: parent class and a child class. The one who is inheriting is a child, and the one who is being inherited is a parent. I had posted one question also. In fact, when I say posted means displayed on the screen during the session of some class geometry. I don't know how many of you have done it, but although I'm going to do it today in one or two different ways, that's the reason we have given up the title of the day today as putting it all together. My face is not shown. How come I'm not visible to you? I'm not visible, right? Okay, I think thank you Navin for informing us. We need to check what's the problem. We need to check technically what's the problem. Fine. Anyways, let me go ahead as of now. Okay, by the time, meanwhile, my team will troubleshoot that. No. Okay. I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, then I said let me go ahead. Our team will troubleshoot that problem. Okay. We were already facing some technical issue right in the beginning. That's the reason I asked for 2 minutes more to start the class with. Take it, never mind. Let me still go ahead with it. Let the team work behind. Okay. All clear. ठीक है people, ठीक है, fine. First of all, to begin with, okay, let me code a program. Let me take a new file. Okay, let me call it as day 25 program1.js. That is JavaScript. Okay, let it go ahead. Fine. Okay, let me tell you what am I going to do. People, today we are in the first half of the class. We are going to put together everything that we have learned in object-oriented programming. Okay, yes, Raji, I'm not visible. We are facing some technical issue, but I hope I am audible and my screen is visible. Correct? If these two are working, then well. Regarding our camera, my team is working behind. I hope that is for all of you, correct? That would be okay to all of you. Okay, we would soon like to fix it up. ठीक है. Okay guys, okay fine. So I have a class here called as class geometry. Okay guys, before I could code it, may I know if you can answer me in the chat section, anybody who tried yesterday with that question of geometry and the two classes circle and rectangle inherited from geometry? No problem. Okay. No, my question to you is, did you try that one practice question which I had displayed in the ongoing session yesterday? Nobody tried? Okay, that question was bit challenging. It was bit challenging. Okay, ठीक है, let me go ahead. This is a class geometry. As for now, this class has no constructor. It has just one method called as area. Assuming every geometrical shape will definitely have a function area. Okay, I speak again. Assuming that every geometrical shape has a common function, that is area. Like circle has a function area, triangle has its own area, rectangle can calculate its own area. For my friends who understand some Bezier curves or Bezier cubes and all, so area is associated almost everywhere. Okay, okay, fine. Over here I'm just printing document.write displays area of the shape. Correct? That's it. This is only my class geometry. Now I create another class here called as rectangle. Rectangle, people. Okay, rectangle. Please focus on the screen. Try to understand how appropriately inheritance work. Two different ways I'm going to code this program. Two different ways. First one is pretty simple. Second one, I'll twist the story and make it complicated. हम इसको थोड़ा twist करके complicate कर देंगे. So this is a constructor of the class rectangle accepting two parameters, length and breadth. And incoming values of these arguments will be assigned to the properties of the class rectangle. Like this dot length is equals to L and this dot breadth is equals to P. Okay students, one thing we notice here is our audiences don't do enough justice with the practice. Okay, आप practice नहीं करोगे तो कितना भी अच्छा teacher पढ़ा कर जाए, it is of no use. You understood? Fine. Do not also depend only upon one or two questions that we give you for self-practice. In fact, you have to sit and practice more than 4 to 5 programs a day. Is that clear? Fine. Otherwise, this all concepts will be forgotten very quickly. Right? So please do justice with a consistent practice. Consistency and practice are the only keys here. If you indeed aim to work in a reputed companies as a full stack developer, you understand? And if you indeed aim to withdraw the packages or the heavy packages, right, starting from 32 LPA or 30 LPA or 40 LPA, अगर आप ये सब aim रखते हो, तो उतनी मेहनत करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? Right from yesterday till today, at least one program you should have practiced on your own. Chalo, anyways, no issues. Help me now. Okay, fine. So area again. I just want to display document.write that area of a rectangle is, guys, area of a rectangle is, let me say, this dot length into this dot breadth. Okay, now friends, try to understand here. This function area is overridden. Okay, because area belongs to a parent class also. Okay, I did not extend that. You should have reminded me. Extends geometry, correct? Extends geometry. So area is a function present in the parent class, but because you redefine the function, तुमने उसे redefine कर डाला, तो now the priority will be given to child class if the child calls it. Got it? So this is overridden. Now let's come here. Let's create an object of rectangle. Say R1 is equals to new rectangle. Because constructor of rectangle, guys, constructor of rectangle is designed with 2 argument. The prototype of the constructor demand 2 argument. हमको 2 argument pass करना पड़ेगा. You want to take this 2 argument prompted from user either using prompt box or using HTML input type text boxes. To save a time, I'm typing them as it is. That is 3 and 5. Okay, so if I'm not wrong, length area of the rectangle is calculated as length into breadth. Is that okay? Length into breadth, or I should say, barabar, length into breadth. That is what is an area. Correct. Good. I thought 2 plus L plus B. I think that is the circumference, or let me say the perimeter, not circumference. This is correct. So if I say R1 dot area, now area belongs to the parent class geometry also, and but child class rectangle also. So which area will be called? The one which is inside the child class. Am I right? Fine. Acha, guys, this is also called as, this is the first new thing we are learning today, polymorphism. Good, thank you. People, polymorphism. What do you mean by polymorphism? Try to understand. Poly, it is opposite of the word mono. Okay, आपने कभी भी सुना है तो mono, that means single. Okay, poly people, poly. You say polygon, correct? That means made of more than 1 or 2 sides. Okay, poly, that means many. Okay, so poly and morphism. Morphism is nothing but use or existence here. Okay, now actually what is the meaning of polymorphism? When a particular method, people, is used more than 1 times. You understood? Like if I create an object of geometry, say G1 is equals to new geometry, because it has no constructor and no argument, I'm not passing anything here. And if I write like this, G1 dot area, so actually the same function area with the same name is used multiple times for different tasks. Am I right? The same function is doing different tasks for different object. Correct or not? Correct? That's the reason we say polymorphism is achieved only with inheritance, and this together becomes a part of or principle of object-oriented programming. Okay? For example, 1 minute here. Achha, before I could give you another example, look at the point I've mentioned here. This is the core concept of object-oriented programming or paradigm, who provide a single way to perform a single action but in different forms. Am I right? Single way to perform single action, and that too in different form. It is ability to call the same method. Come on, read the second point. So polymorphism ये आपकी class की ability है या आपके objects की ability है to call the same method on different objects. Am I right? Those who are confused with the first point, in case you look, the second one point reveals everything. Okay, it's ability to call the same method but on different object. How it is possible? Because the methods are overridden in respective classes. Is that okay? Fine. So polymorphism can be achieved only via inheritance, or it takes advantage of inheritance in order to make this possible or to make this happen. Okay? Once again, if I could read the second point and wind off this definition, this is the ability to call same method but with different JavaScript object. So where are the different objects here? R1 is an object of rectangle. G1 is an object of geometry. So tomorrow, if there is one more class here, say class circle, people, there is another class circle here. Circle has a constructor which accepts only one argument, radius. Say this dot radius, boys and girls, are you understanding? That is R. Another, the same function again, or let me say the function by the same name again, who says document dot write, okay, let me use a break here, document.write area of a circle is, okay, let me say the pi r square, that is 3.142 into this dot radius into this dot radius. Is that correct? Okay people, area of a circle is pi. This is the value of pi, 22 upon 7. People, 22 upon 7, that is constant pi, 3.142. R square, that is radius into radius. So if I could create, hello friends, if I could create now the area or let me say circle class ka object. So new circle and passing the value as 5. So 5, thank you. Okay, thank you. 5 5s are 25 and 25 into 3.142. Whatever is the answer. So let me say here now C1 dot area. तो आप देखोगे, अरे भाई area functions are different for different object. So this is called as poly more than one. The function area is used for more than one purpose. Let me give a full stop to the definition now. Is that okay? So the function area is used for more than one purpose. It is used in more than one form, correct? It is used in more than one form. And how it is possible? Guys, ऐसा otherwise possible नहीं होता ना? Am I right? Only classes makes it achieve. Otherwise it is not possible. Say I create a function area and I write some definition of the function. Okay, and if you create one more time the function by the same name, am I right, boys and girls? If I create, suppose this is not a method, it's in any ordinary function. Okay, this is another function. Arey, to JavaScript will give you error. How can you create the function by the same name again? Am I right? कैसे कर सकते हो आप ये? How can you create the function by the same name again? This function is already once declared, correct? Am I right? But this is possible via inheritance or object-oriented programming. Am I right? Because a child class override the function of the parent class if it is used by same name, thereby making it possible to use the same function with different forms, correct? All of us here. Fine. So this is what is the meaning of polymorphism. Many forms of the same function and different object can use those many forms. Okay. I would be glad if you could acknowledge to us in the chat section, is the concept of polymorphism clear? Everyone. It's not a new theory. ये तो हम अब तक कर ही चुके. We just have put it into the proper words today, right? We have just put it up in proper words, correct? Navin, Wasim, Shreyas, Raji, anybody else here? Okay, there are so many people. All my other friends also. Concept of polymorphism clear? Yes, Navin, I will send it. I will send them. In fact, that one notepad file I had sent you also on the group. I don't remember. I'll check and resend it again. Is it okay? Fine. So that's polymorphism. Alright. Now if you could remember on one of the day, I think this was the same file or not. You're talking about this file? Can you send the definitions, ma'am? Navin, are you talking about this file or you want me to prepare those notes and send you? Okay, put your answer in the chat section. See, OPS has the following principle. Yesterday the entire lecture we were talking about inheritance. Today we talked about polymorphism. But inheritance में ये सब cover हो जाता है. You understood? Only the thing is we did not realize yesterday ये polymorphism है while that method was getting overridden. Correct? I hope you understood my point here. When the method was getting overridden, हमको तभी पता नहीं चला या पता नहीं था पहले से that this is only called as polymorphism, which is otherwise not possible outside the class definition. Correct? Yes. Okay, good. All of us. Now next comes encapsulation. People, even encapsulation is nothing new. What is right in front of you? This is encapsulation. You see, this is class circle, and everything with respect to circle we have put up in this capsule. Break the word and read encapsulation. You know capsule, correct? Capsule कैसा दिखता है? Medicine. Right? Encapsulated means it has collected and covered all the particles inside. Okay, for our better understanding, I have kept downloaded certain diagrams from internet sources. Check it out. Like this capsule is a class, and inside the class you have all the methods and variables required to code that class. Good. Okay, so this is how somewhat encapsulation looks like. Are you understanding? Like this class is a capsule. So come compare this diagram with our code here. So circle class is like a capsule who encapsulate variables and methods. Okay, so you see constructor talks about all the properties, that is the variable, and area is one of the method. Tomorrow you want, you can code another function for this, say perimeter of a circle, or maybe circumference if you don't want to call it as perimeter. Okay, because circumference is something that belongs to the circle as a property, something like that. Okay, code goes here like a 2 pi r and all. Right, so these all functions are again encapsulated inside the same capsule. Look at another diagram here. What it says. Okay, so encapsule, that means in capsule. All that you put it up for a class. Okay, another diagram if I could show you. Okay, so say this is a class car. It talks about the model of the car, speed of the car, engine of the car, speed limit of the car. So all these are the properties inside the car which is encapsulated. Drive, stop, set speed, these all are the different functions. Is that okay? So this entire class body is only called as a capsule, which is another property of object-oriented programming. Is that clear? Fine. So if I could read technically, आप में से वो बच्चे जो सोच रहे हैं, what is the benefit of that then? इससे होगा क्या? You understood? Try to understand. It is a process of binding the data. Okay, that is variable with its function acting on that data. You understood? In fact, I should write one more important point here. It restricts the access of data members or data and functions of a class or object to any outside source. Am I right? To any outside source. So whatever is there inside the class, come on, focus a little more to understand. अरे भाई जो कुछ भी वो कैप्सूल में है, खाली उस कैप्सूल का ऑब्जेक्ट ही यूज कर सकता है, करेक्ट? So area is not any ordinary function outside the class that anybody can call and use it. In order to be able to use the function, you have to be object of the class or be the child class extending it, correct or not? So some kind of restrictions comes upon us if you attempt to use the function of a class which is inside it, right? Okay, so let me put this point here, people. Let me put this point here. Okay, any method, that means a function, people, or variable, that means a property. Okay, any function or property of a class can be used by number one, its object, number two, its child class, because it is extended. Good, thank you who said understood. Thank you. Okay, why so? Come on, my question, why so? Because simple answer, it is in the capsule. It is in the capsule, that is, it is encapsulated inside the class. inside the class body. Are you understanding? For example, if I say class person, so this is the capsule now, people. What you find here is opening closing curly bracket. ये capsule है. इसके अंदर जो भी आएगा that is limited to this capsule. Restricted. Nobody else can use, but only object of person. Nobody else can use. If you are my child class and I'm allowed to use, I have allowed you to do that. Is that okay? Fine. So that's the reason I told you, when you create a class, encapsulation by default is achieved. ऐसा point sentence आपको क्यों बोला? ऐसा क्यों बोला आपको? Because to achieve inheritance, we have to at least use the word extend, right? How many of my intelligent friends agree with this? Right? Inheritance achieve करने के लिए भाई कम से कम extend तो use करना ही पड़ता था. Right? But in order to use encapsulation, is there any special keyword to use? No. The class body itself is enough to encapsulate it, correct? In order to use polymorphism, is there any special keyword? No. But the functions with the same name, that means itself it is poly, more than one. Alright, fine. So this was a special word to be used only for inheritance. For encapsulation, polymorphism, no. No such special terms are used. People would be glad if you could acknowledge to us in the chat section. Encapsulation, polymorphism, all clear? All my friends who are present here, is it clear? Shall be waiting. Shall be waiting. Okay, I think we have yet not fixed up the problem of the camera. I don't know what's wrong there behind. Clear. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay, people, abstraction is a very big concept of object-oriented programming. Although I have kept it presented on my pip slide here, but we are not going to do abstraction in JavaScript. Listen to my point carefully. I will mark and keep this topic pending. We will be covering abstraction in Python. Alright, we are going to cover up abstraction in Python. I hope you got my point. Okay, the reason why, because we are working under a bit of time constraint. Abstraction is a big concept. I hope you got my point. Please continue. Okay, thank you very much. Alright, fine. So we will give priority because as of now abstraction was not important to us. Understanding inheritance was more of a priority. Is that okay? So now once we start with Python and we reach object oriented programming wala topic Python mein, we will be discussing abstraction in a much depth, and therein we won't talk in depth about encapsulation and polymorphism. Is it okay? I hope you got my point. Even JavaScript talks about different types of inheritance. Prototype inheritance, pseudo class inheritance, functional inheritance. But that is not so trendy and not in too much use in a daily life programming. So what actual types of inheritances are used? That is single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance. All these inheritances comes in Python. So this way we will be covering more broad inheritance again in Python. I hope you all have made a notes on that. Okay, you noted the point that I mentioned. The topic of abstraction we will be covering widely in Python. I hope you got my point, and you will yourself understand abstraction back in JavaScript. Fine, okay? Okay, so this were some 2-3 things. Now coming back to our Visual Studio Code. People, Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is r1.area, g1.area, c1.area. Let me save this all, and this is my HTML file. Let me take the program here as day25, program 1, and let me go to execute it. Okay, almost ready. The server is up and almost ready, the local server. Sorry for this time. I think it's fine now, correct? You can see me, in fact. Is that correct? Alright guys, alright, so we are back. Okay, good. No output is shown. I don't know why, so let me quickly check in case if there is any error. Okay, there is an error. Must call super constructor. Alright. Okay, so let me use the function super. Okay, so if this is an overridden class, let me use super. Alright, that's the reason I told you guys, do practice so such kind of problems can be overcome. Okay, circle also extends geometry, right? Circle also extends geometry. Super should be required here as well. Okay, come on, let me copy paste this URL or refresh the page. Okay, the output is here. I hope you understood. I did not call the super function. So area of the rectangle is 15 because I said 3 and 5. Okay, displays shape because this is geometry and this is whatever is circle class object. Okay, let me comment this one. I don't want this output. That was only to teach you what is polymorphism. Clear? Okay, so this is one method to code the class. Hello friends, I'm going to make this concept a tricky now. Okay, let me take all together a new file. I'm taking a new file. Day25 program2.js. Okay, so let me say this is class geometry. Okay, the class itself has a constructor which will accept length, breadth and radius. Are you understanding? You compare with our previous program. See, the parent class did not have any constructor or any property of its own. So we were defining properties in the child class, correct? In the previous example, properties we were defining in the child class because there was no property common between rectangle and circle. So it makes sense to define them in the child class respectively. Yes or no? हाँ, rectangle square होता या parallel क्रम होता तो कोई बात भी अलग थी. Assuming each of these shapes will have their own width or at least heights. Correct? But since rectangle has length and breadth and circle has a radius, so that made sense. So, but this time I'm creating them inside the parent class. So let me say this dot length, length, length is equals to L. Okay. This dot breadth is equals to B, and this dot radius is equal to R. Are you getting it? And there is a function area. I cannot hard code this function because different shapes will have different formulas to calculate its respective area. Correct? अलग अलग shape की अलग अलग formulae होंगे to calculate the area. Cylinder has its own shape. Triangle has its own area. So let me simply print a message here, document.write. Okay, this function will be or would be overridden. Okay, so even by chance if I happen to call it, this message will flash on the screen giving me a alarm signal. Correct? Okay, chalo. So next one, I create a class circle or let me say rectangle here. Abhi aapki bari. People, it's your turn now. Be mentally present. See how we'll do that. So let me create a class constructor. But the constructor of rectangle is going to accept only two arguments, length and breadth. First of all, I will call the constructor of the super class. अच्छा, अभी फिर से नहीं किया. So let me call it as extends geometry. correct? Alright, but superclass constructor requires 3 arguments. Now it's your choice. You look what you do. Just pass LB, that is the 2 arguments received in the constructor of child class. Come on, the 2 arguments received by the constructor of child class pass to the constructor of the parent class. You got it? Fine. But parent class, in case if you're bothered कि भाई उसको तो R भी चाहिए, you want, you pass here as 0, means the constant value itself you don't want, you leave it. Okay, that means nothing is passed to R and this dot radius will be blank here, correct? So this is one way. And then come on, once I use a super function, that means I have accessed the property of the parent class. I have accessed the properties of the parent class through its constructor by calling super function. And now the same, this function area, I simply say document dot write break this dot length into this dot breadth. That's okay. Extends, correct. Thank you for reminding me. People, problem comes in the circle class. Okay, first before you could go to circle, create an object of rectangle R1. I used const here without any reason. You want, you use let or where. Okay, where use करोगे scope global हो जाएगा. Let use करोगे people, let. Okay, आपको फिर वो scope controlled रहेगा. चलिए, so const R1 is equals to new rectangle, but the constructor will accept 2 arguments. Let me send the 2 arguments as 4, 5 and R1 dot area. Correct? Is that okay? People, we have directly called the constructor of the superclass here. We have directly called the constructor of the superclass. Why? Because who will repeat this code to initialize the properties, right? Who will repeat these 2 lines of code again to initialize the property? That's the reason we did it. Correct? Fine. Alright, let's see the output till here is there or not. So I come back to HTML because I changed the program. Correct. 4 into 5, that is 20. No, but now when you go to code the circle class, come on, when you go to code the circle class, this was our program 2. Hurry up, see. We say class circle extends geometry, yeah, geometry. Okay, constructor of the class, people, constructor of the class. Now see, if it accepts 1 argument, that is, and the starting is the first one only, you can pass this way. Accepts 2 argument, but first 2, so you can pass this way. But if you say no, I just want to accept the 3rd argument, तो पहला तो आपको यहाँ पे default 0 0 देना पड़ेगा. You understood? And if you don't want to give 0 0 here, no problem. Just accept 1 argument, say R. But then make sure this is the constructor. 1 minute. This is the constructor. Make sure when you call the super function from the parent class, but the constructor of the parent class, you can't pass directly R this way, people. ऐसा आप एक ही argument नहीं दे सकते हो. If you just pass R, it will assign to the first argument here, that is to L. You understood? So this will be the argument position mismatch, correct? I hope you got my point. For example, in the previous case, when I said L and B, so L was assigned to L here. B from here in the function call was assigned to function definition here. And since there is no R, it didn't create any problem. Or I gave you another solution out there. Say you by default assign the 0. Correct? Fine. So that's one thing. I hope you understand my point. But in case of constructor of the circle class, if you say R, yes, if you say R, what will happen here? If you say R, super function का argument, it will directly be assigned to the first argument L. So that this R is assigned to the third argument R only. Third argument R only. What I do is I pass the starting two arguments as 0, 0. Okay, that means fixed, people, 0, 0. Alright, finish, done. And now code the area of the circle. So document.write, if you don't mind, let me copy this line. Okay, document.write, area of the circle is pi r square, so 3.142 into this dot radius into this dot radius. Is that okay? All of us? Fine. So let's check whether this code works or not. Okay. R2, this is a circle object, or let me call it a C1, is equals to new circle. The constructor of circle accepts one argument. So let me pass one argument here, say 10. 10 tens are 100. 100 into 3.142, whatever is the answer. Okay, so C1 dot, let me say area. Finish. Okay. Coming back here. Okay, that is 314.2. Correct. Alright, fine. So these were the 2-3 ways that you can code that program or any other program of inheritance, wherein the parent class is child class is extending the parent, sharing the properties. You have to be very careful when you go to the function call. Okay, which argument to pass where, you have to be very careful about it. Is that okay, friends? Alright, fine. I would just like to give you the schedule of this week. Okay, tentatively how we are planning to go ahead. Okay, हम अभी इससे आगे कैसे जा रहे हैं. This part is yours. This part. Okay, so Monday, people, Monday. Okay, Monday we have done already. That is inheritance. Tuesday we have covered up polymorphism, encapsulation, and not events. Event I'll be taking up in a part later. Wednesday, that is tomorrow, we are going to learn the other JavaScript object, that is date, math, number, boolean. We are also going to create a digital clock, people. Digital clock that keeps running. Okay, that keeps running. If I could just quickly show you how it looks like. How it looks like, if I could quickly show you that. Just a moment. Oh, I think I'll have to make a lot of changes. No, I don't. One moment, please. One moment. Okay. Did I save that? One minute. Okay, fine. I'll troubleshoot and show it to you tomorrow. Never mind. Digital clocks. Okay, so that is another thing. Okay, so this is the content for tomorrow. Thursday we are going to learn about a different object model. That is the difference between DOM and BOM, and the differences between JavaScript, PHP, JavaScript, Angular. What is JavaScript and how does it differ from Node? Friday is going to be an important lecture where there will be a lot of coding based on validation. Okay, that is form validation or age validation or name validation and so on. Okay, so this is most probably the schedule of the week. Something left out here and there due to time issues, we will see later. Okay, fine. And next week, Monday, we plan to go back to CSS, whatever is left. And Tuesday, Wednesday, we plan for Bootstrap. Okay, we are planning for Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a very big framework, in fact. Okay, Bootstrap 1, Bootstrap 2. That is Bootstrap, same. Alright, maybe Thursday also we'll go to Bootstrap. I can't say. So this is going to be the schedule for the upcoming days up until now. Okay, now one once till here we have completed, we will ask you to submit a small website kind of project as an intermediate. That decision is yet to come up, but after this particular part is done, we will go and start with SQL. Okay, उसके बाद से SQL start होगा. Okay, that's important. In fact, that will be the first backend tool or a language we will be using for our full stack. Is that okay? Some of them have requested us for MongoDB. MongoDB, we will see if the plan works well. If we are able to complete everything in 5 months, one and a half month is gone. We started from September 1 and it's already October 16-17 today. Am I right? तो ये सब 5 महीने में जो होता है करेंगे. टाइम हमारे पास लास्ट में और बचता है, तो we will add some few more tools. I hope you got that. Naveen is asking, argument also have positions, ma'am? Yes, Naveen, arguments also have position. Alright, that means even if you write like this was my program. Okay, circle. So instead of writing like this, if I could put it in a comment here. Okay, so even if you write like this, arguments 2. You understood? That means we are talking about 0, 1, 2. That is radius. Numbering starts from 0. Okay, numbering starts from 0. I hope you got it. If you understood well, and if you have not, then no problem. Try to do some R&D on your own. Okay, all of us. Fine, let's quickly put up together what we have learned today. Fine, we started with a simple program that is of geometry and different geometrical shapes, rectangle and a circle. Okay, we started talking about polymorphism first, which is ability to call the same function with different objects. And polymorphism intake takes advantage of inheritance to make this happen. Otherwise, outside the class, it is not possible to reuse or to redefine and define the function by same name. Okay, encapsulation, it is like a capsule. For those who have joined us late, this is the diagram I showed to the class. जो बच्चे हमको आज late join किए हैं. See, this is what is encapsulation. It's like a class body encapsulating all the variables and methods of the class. Okay, inside the body we have encapsulated the variables and method of the class. Is that okay? All of us. So that is what it is. I hope you got my point. Correct. And what else? Okay, this is a class and it has all the properties and all the methods here. Okay, Shreyas ma'am, SQL is already in your channel. Shreyas, that is incomplete. Okay, SQL is incomplete. That part which is there already, that is incomplete. That's the reason we will be taking it again. Okay, fine. Chalega. Okay. We started that boot camp, but for some reason we stopped in between. So that's the reason. Okay, encapsulation gave some photos. Okay, so polymorphism done, encapsulation done, and I actually wanted to show you a few more things, but it's okay, fine. It's done for the day. We have time for Angular. Naveen, because after SQL we will be starting with Python Django, track of the full stack. Okay, Django is tough. Tough means it needs practice. If you have ever heard of Django. Okay, so Python Django होने के बाद में, या तो फिर अगर उसके साथ साथ हम बीच में कहीं शुरू कर सकते हैं React Angular, so we'll see that. Okay, we'll take a call that time. So you consider that will be most probably somewhere in the beginning of January. Okay, if I could say roughly about Angular will start somewhere in the beginning of January. All of us people, before I could wind off here the session today, practice as much as you can. Alright, do not rely only upon what we are learning in the class. I hope you got my point. Is it okay? Fine. DSA mostly by the end of Feb. I need to talk to the team whether we have, because when we have put it up as a plan, we did not include DSA. Bharat. Okay, if you could see our advertisement which was on Instagram that we had posted for the full stack, DSA wasn't a part of it. But I cannot say that DSA is not important. Data structures is equally important. Okay, fine. We'll put up all these feedback. आप अगर 2-3 बार पूछ ही रहे हो DSA के बारे में, तो we'll see if it can be added. Just be in the loop. Okay, be in this loop. If you could be there behind us always like this, so we'll work hard. if the audiences demand from us. Okay, if the audiences are demanding from us, so we'll have to work out upon that, because when we prepared this curriculum, it was from our point of view what is an industry demand. Okay, when the website नवीन टाइम है उसके लिए, वेबसाइट प्रोजेक्ट हम आपसे 2 पार्ट में लेंगे, we'll take it in 2 different parts. We still have a time for that. Okay, you can expect one mini project coming up next month, and the other major project that will be coming up directly in the month of March 2024. Is that okay? Okay, that means after I complete the full syllabus here. Yes, yes, yes. Any other question from your end? I think I've already sent the attendance link to you. Make sure that you're marking it present. Alright, okay, goodbye then. See you back tomorrow once again at 4 p.m. I'll see to share everything that we have used today, PowerPoint, Word file and all. Okay, and apologies in case if we do that delayed. आपके पूछने पर भी अगर हम डिले आपको ग्रुप पर सेंड करते हैं, so apologies for that. The reason being behind only we are too occupied. That's it. Git in the end, Bharat. Again, February end. GitHub both. Okay, GitHub, that's a part of the curriculum. Uploading the project. Understood. Or a part of Git I'll show you after I complete Django. Alright. Okay, Naveen, I think I have missed the array notes. It is lost from my system. So you have to give me time. I'll make one and then send. Is it okay? Okay, because despite of you asking me repeatedly and I'm not replying you back, the reason only being behind I'm unable to find it on my laptop here. Okay, fine. It was a great session, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rajat. Thank you so much again. Thank you to you too for acknowledgement. Okay, thanks for this acknowledgement. This means a lot for us. Okay, if you have indeed liked our work, please do not forget to like, share it, and do also request your other friends as well to subscribe to the Code Ark. Alright, goodbye. Take care. Study hard. Thanks everyone. Yes, Naveen. Yes, I'll do that.